Today we're going to compare, side by side, the venerated industry standard Neumann U87 with the AIM Audio Inspire. How different are they? Let's find out.
From the mind of Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov.
If you're watching this video, you know as well as I do that any microphone that you use for voiceover or music will get compared to the U87 at some point in time or another, especially one that has a K87 style capsule, a transformer, and is built in Germany. So I think the comparisons are obvious, but are the sonic differences or similarities obvious? So I'm just going to solo them and go between them. This is really the first time I'm really hearing them next to each other. And again, I have this shot pulled real tight, so there's no doubt which one I'm talking into. This way I don't have to spend an extra hour putting tags on the bottom of the screen. So the Neumann U87, I should talk about the mic. I should speak into the mic that I'm talking about. So the Neumann U87, of course, the industry standard for decades, possibly the most famous microphone in the world. It's also about $4,000 now with tax, so there's that. The upstart AIM Audio Inspire is about $1,000 with tax, all in, and you get a shock mount. So they're both in what I would call the best shock mounts I can put them in. The AIM Audio Inspire is in their own custom shock mount. The U87 is in a rye coat. So I'm just going to keep talking. That way you can maybe get a better sense of what's between them, or what makes them different, what sets them apart, right? So overall, right, I'm gonna just kind of yap for a little bit, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm hearing, because I'm starting to hear what I feel are things that I can tell you about each sound as I keep talking into it, as stuff comes out of my sound hole into the microphone. Here, hold on. Brenda and Eddie were still going steady in the summer of '75. Then they decided the marriage would be at the end of July. Everyone said they were crazy. Brenda, they said that you're much too lazy, and Eddie could never afford to live that kind of life. Brenda and Eddie were still going steady in the summer of '75. Then they decided the marriage would be at the end of July. Everyone said they were crazy. Brenda, they said that you're much too lazy, and Eddie could never afford to live that kind of life. What else? Lease a brand new Honda Accord LX for only $219 a month. Lease a brand new Honda Accord LX for only $219 a month. So right now, here, let me just explain. So neither of them have EQ on them. Both mics are going into the Neumann MT48, and so and they're both on the flat setting. So there's no high pass set on either mic. So it's a flat signal going in, but I have a 40 hertz high pass filter on the MT48. That way you don't hear a rumble or the fan. So I think it's pretty evenly matched. They're both really about, I would say, 5 fingers plus, about 6 fingers plus away from my face. Here, let me back up a little bit. So this would be about 10 inches away, maybe, right? This would be about singing distance. You would sing at this distance. You wouldn't. This is my voiceover, distance, because I don't really speak that loud. But this is where you would be for singing. So here's kind of, I think, a more accurate comparison at a little bit of a distance. All right. Oh, which one am I talking into? All right. So what else? So you know what? Hold on. Let me do this, because the AIM Audio Inspire sounds different when you enable the 80 hertz, the onboard 80 hertz high pass filter. The high pass filter on the U87 is at 150 hertz. It's not usable really for voiceover except for specific things. But for general use for commercials, I always pop the 80 hertz high pass filter on here. let me just get this set up correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 40 hertz high-pass filter off the MT48. All right, so this is with the just the 80 hertz high-pass filter on the mic, and then. All right, so this is 80 hertz high-pass filter on the MT48. Now I know it's a little bit different, but it's really it's less about what each one does and really more about the aggregate of what you get in terms of sound. So this would be a more commercial sound. This would be where I'd want it for commercials. And this is where I've been using the AIM Audio Inspire for commercials. So what do we think so far, right? And what I like about the Inspire is that it really does change. It changes the tone of the mic quite a bit when you enable that 80 hertz high pass filter. It's got a pretty steep roll off, so you're boosting the mids in a way. You're putting the mids a lot more mid forward. And here with the 87 with the 80 hertz high pass filter enabled on the MT48. You're getting more low mid, right? So there's definitely a difference between them. All right, so let me reset that to where it was when we started. So hold on. So I'm putting the 87 back at the 40 hertz. Hold on. Oh, I'm losing my page here. Hold on. So let me. All right, hold on. All right, and we're back here in the AIM Audio flat, and they both have 40 hertz on the MT48. So, all right, let me tell you what I'm hearing between them now that I've kind of had what was that? About 6 minutes to really absorb all this. Okay, where do I start? All right, so I think overall the AIM Audio Inspire feels a little bit brighter overall. Oh, hold on, I'm losing my. Hold on, I gotta get my. We got toggle before. Right, sorry, I'm muttering to myself. The U87, I feel, has a lower centroid, like where the pivot point, where the middle frequency, and I think that they're very similar, but I think that really the centroid on the Inspire feels more like la 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 la. Hold on, la 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 la, la 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 la. Yeah, okay. La 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 la. This feels like it's closer to 3K. La 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 la. But I don't hear, like, there's a certain resonance because of where my voice hits. Like, it's not at 3K. It feels like it's a little bit above 3K. I could be wrong. And this feels like it's more closer to 4K where the centroid is. So it's a little bit brighter, first of all. Hold on. La 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 la. La 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 la. Oh, that's interesting. Hold on. La 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 la. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. I use my resonance to really gauge the sound of a lot of mics. I may be wrong. This is actually a little bit of a surprise to me because I thought that the U87 would have a little bit more saturation. But I'm actually feeling like, especially in the sweet spot in my voice, the U87 has a little bit less saturation. I feel like this has a little bit more THD on it. So a little bit more, just not a lot. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, but I feel like my ears are in good shape today. No tinnitus today at all. So yeah, 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. There's definitely more low mid weight in the U87. Definitely a little bit more than there is here. But the thing is, there may be a little bit more low mid weight in the U87 than I want. Like, I mean, we're talking stuff that I would have to EQ out really for commercials or even for narration. Might be a little bit too much. But again, it's like you can change that by your proximity. But the thing is, there's a certain tone I like with the rest of my voice that comes at a certain distance. It's about 5-6 fingers away. And I feel like, yeah, there's a lot more low mid weight than there is here. That's a lot cleaner in the low mids than that. It's a little bit more, it's definitely more modern and forward. It's and this is rounder. What else? What else? Let's see. Hold on. La la la. Check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2 1 2 1 2. I think that the AIM Audio Inspire is definitely a little bit brighter. I feel like there's a little bit more going on. Hello, hello. I'm just making sounds into it that will hopefully la 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 la. I know you're tired of hearing me say la 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 la. I think the U87 feels I don't hold on. The AIM Audio Inspire feels a little bit like the signal width feels a little bit wider. Am I wrong? Does this feel like a little bit tighter? And this feels a little bit wider, right? Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like my ears are on point today. I also feel like we're talking about where the frequency roll-off happens on the, if I had to guess, I would say that the 87 is probably rolling off maybe like a whole 1,000 hertz sooner than the maybe more. But I feel like the 87 kind of like where you start to get into the air band, where you start to get that roll off. The 87 usually for me, I feel like it kind of starts like I can that roll off happens around 11K, right? And this feels like it's a little bit higher, maybe 13. So it's kind of more pre-EQ'd. So all right. So what do you think so far? All right. Let me just wrap this up before it just goes on forever and ever. Because I could talk about these mics forever. The overall, they're different, but they live in the same neighborhood. And the two questions are: to me, and this comes from somebody who is a big time U87 fan. The U87 was like all summer long. This is the commercials, punchy commercials on the 87. But I feel like the Inspire feels a little bit more finished, like it's where I want it without EQ. And the 87, I feel like I would have to. I mean, I like this. They both sound great. But here's the other question. This may be the most salient question of them all. The 87, is it worth $4,000 plus tax? Or would you rather have this for $1,000? Or 4 of these for $4,000? Right? So, all right, I want to know what you're thinking. Again, this was just all impromptu. Just trying to really get a better idea. And I wanted you to experience this journey, this exploration with me in real time. So I hope this has been useful. But again, this is the AIM Audio Inspire. Let me get up real close. This is the AIM Audio Inspire. And this is the U87. So what do you think? I want to know. You know what to do. Leave a comment. And until next time, this is Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov, fading to black.